Greetings, my friend. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me on this thank you yoga break. I am Aaron Sazurek. I am a practitioner of yoga. I teach yoga. I have a 200-hour certification. And in this thank you yoga series, I would like to offer some more advanced postures that I like to participate in my personal practice. I am interested in exploring them more and learning about how other people practice those postures as well. So I thought by sharing some of my experiences in these videos, I could perhaps connect with people as well as introduce the postures to someone who may want to start practicing. But these poses are, I would consider them intermediate, if not advanced. So you should have maybe a year or so yoga practice experience before trying them out. But of course, everyone is different. Everyone is at a different place in their lives. So it's really up to you and what you feel is appropriate for you. But again, if you're not comfortable with different moving in different ways in your body, I would not try the poses that I'm going to offer in this series initially. I would go back to some of my earlier series, which I do share some more basic postures. I believe that series is called Balancing Life, as well as um, Balancing Life and Postures of Life. That's the name of the series. I'm sorry, it's been a while, so I don't quite recollect. Though the Postures of Life series shares quite a bit of basic postures that should be wonderful if you would like to build up your practice from a beginning position. Maybe you are a more physically active person, do a lot more, so you may be able to move into the intermediate advanced postures a little quicker, but this should be done with carefulness, kindness to yourself. We never want to harm ourselves when we're trying to perform these postures. The aim of yoga is not to perform for an audience or for some kind of ego trip, like we want to feel greater or better or bigger or something like that. It is just for the experience to offer something to our body and our mind that these two parts of us might benefit from. Also, a wonderful way to connect to the spirit can open up through all the yoga postures. And I believe through the more advanced postures, it is possible for me to more deeply connect to spirit because of the thoughtfulness and attention that I have to give within the practice. It's a little more demanding than it's more demanding to practice them safely than some of the more basic postures. But that is my experience of it, and everybody's experience is different. So I will leave you to your experience, to your own decisions. Again, practice with caution, kindness to yourself. And on that note, before we begin the introduction of this pose, are these kind of pose variations. There'll be variations on a pose called Sirsasana, which is the headstand pose, and these will be leg variations, so turning and moving our legs in different ways. So just to give you a little bit of idea of some of the cautions that I have found for this pose, Do not practice Sirsasana if you suffer from back injury, headache, heart condition, high blood pressure, menstruation, neck injury, low blood pressure. It should be noted that you still can practice Sirsasana if you have low blood pressure, but it should not be the first pose in your sequence. You should try to warm up to headstand pose. And then also in pregnancy. Now, Sirsasana can be practiced in pregnancy till late into the pregnancy, but only if you are an experienced practitioner. You shouldn't begin to learn how to perform Sirsasana if you are in the middle of a pregnancy. Okay? And some of the reasons that I do like Sirsasana are because it increases my body awareness um, quite exponentially. I mean, there is hardly a movement that I do not feel in my body when I am standing on my head because any subtle movement can really affect the balance of the pose. So it's really important to concentrate on what is happening in the body and also in the mind. Any kind of fluctuation of thoughts, any tension, any worry, any anxiety that comes up can really affect the balance. So it does really heighten the awareness of the mind and the body at the time of the practice of that pose. And I am always grateful for that because the memory of that awareness and attention, I feel, helps carry on throughout the rest of the day to some degree and helps me pay a little bit more attention, so I make a little less conditions for myself to fall into something that might have painful consequences, hopefully leading myself into something that has some good rewards involved into it. But also, I like the leg variations in particular because they help to really open up the hips in a different way than if you are turned around on the side that you would normally sit on, so your bottom. Those hip openers are always good, but when you're using gravity to help open up your hips in that way when you're turned upside down, it just feels so much more easy and expansive. There's only gravity. There's not the pushing back of the ground, and sometimes that can serve, for me, it feels to open up the hips in a little safer fashion. But of course, not if you're falling over. So you always want to pay attention to your balance. Okay, and it is just fun to change your perspective on the world. It helps you take things a little more lightly, perhaps. It helps break you out of certain cycles of frustration and maybe anger even sometimes. You know, it helps me laugh about things sometimes a little more. Um, but then again, it can help me just calm down. If I feel frustrated and I feel that I can't move into the balance of Sirsasana, I know I can have a tool to help me know why, which is trying to balance in that posture. And I would like to share with you the 4 variations before we begin that we'll be performing in Sirsasana. So the first variation is Parsva Sirsasana, okay, and this translates to side headstand. And then we have Paravrita Ekapada Sirsasana, or revolved one-legged Sirsasana. We also have Ekapada Sirsasana, one-leg Sirsasana, and then Parsvyaka, Parsvyaka Pada Sirsasana, side one leg Sirsasana. Okay, so my Sanskrit pronunciation might not be quite accurate, and if you do notice that it's not, I do apologize. I'm trying my best. I can do for some more learning in how to pronounce Sanskrit, and that is something I intend to address in the future, of course. But thank you for coming with me, sticking with me so far, and I hope these demonstrations of the variations that you can perform with the legs and Sirsasana is interesting and informative to you and might benefit your personal practice, my friend. Okay, so thank you very much for being here, and let's go ahead and give this a try. Let us try first with, let's see, the Para Ekapada Sirsasana, okay? So in this one, I'll go ahead and do kind of like a split as I am in Sirsasana. Let's give that a try. So also something I would like to mention is it's important to have a safe space to practice Sirsasana. It's better if you can get all of the clutter and the objects out of the way because if you do fall in Sirsasana, one of the biggest reasons for injury is just falling on objects. So if you can move objects as far out of the way as possible, it's a good thing. Okay, so let's try first to move into Sirsasana. So you kind of get down onto all fours first, all right, just like this. And then after that, you'll bow the head down and touch the top of the head to the surface below. Okay, so you're kind of looking through those bent legs. And then when you're ready, go ahead and straighten your legs out. Feel the weight of your body begin to shift into your upper body onto your head, and then gradually come up onto those toes and kind of roll your hips up. Okay, so you gradually lift the legs up. Okay, and then for the standing splits, what we'll go ahead and do is just begin to allow one leg to come forward and one leg to go backwards, okay? And then when you're done with that, you can go ahead and bring the other leg forward. All right, very good. Okay. And make sure you're trying your best to have a nice, easy breath while you're moving through these movements. Go ahead and bring your legs back together. All right. We're going to go ahead and turn the hips one direction and allow the legs to begin to split in that direction. Okay, I did notice that I started with an arm position that wasn't that easy to use when moving the legs, so I would like to switch my arm position. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of clasp my hands behind my head and rest my forearms on the mat. I'm going to move back up into Sirsasana. Okay, this helps give me a little more stability in the base. All right, and we'll move to those kind of hip twisting splits that we were going to do before. All right, twisting one way and twisting the other way, then allowing the legs to come open in a natural way. Okay. Sometimes when it feels like an unnatural leg to go first, doesn't feel right. Normally the leg that feels best with the split is the leg that you are twisting the hip direction toward. Okay, and then when you're ready, just switching the sides, twisting the hips in the other direction and kind of rolling the leg to match the twist of the hips. Okay. All right, very good. When ready to do so, bring legs back together gradually and easily. All right. And when you're ready, gradually let your legs fall down before your head. All right. Take a nice big breath in and out through the nostrils. Allow it to come out mouth if you would like, if you're feeling particularly heated. Okay. You can even twist, rotate, the neck. Try to loosen the neck up if it feels like it's a little stressed, a little tight after balancing on the head for a while. Okay, and we can try for another variation. All right, so this one is known as Ekapada Sirsasana. Will be done by touching the toes, one leg toes to the ground, and then the other will be raised. It'll make more sense when I do demonstrate the pose for you. Okay, so we'll move into Sirsasana once again. And now there's two ways we can move into it. We can move fully into Sirsasana. Okay, and we can lower one of the legs like so. All right, or we can actually be here like we are going to move into Sirsasana, and we can raise a leg up instead of having to raise up in Sirsasana and raise leg down. Okay, and we'll just hold for a while with that leg
Then we'll lower, raise the other leg. Okay, very good. Okay, lowering. And this one might be Parsva Ekapada Sirsasana. And the only real difference is we move one of the legs out to the side and raise the other leg up straight. Then we'll lower that leg, move that leg back, move this one out to the side, and raise this leg. Be careful not to tip over to the side when performing this balance. Okay, very good. And then lowering. Okay. Coming out. Taking a breath. Rolling the neck perhaps. All right. And from here, we'll go ahead and find the next variation. So I do believe the um, the last variation was actually when we just turned the hips to one direction or the other. Trying to figure out exactly which name that is. I mean, the names to me, because I don't use them all the time, they seem rather confusing. So, not sure which name it is actually, but we will just call them revolving the hips in Sirsasana. Okay, so to demonstrate one more time, just to make sure that you know what I am talking about, I will go ahead and do that now. Okay, so we're moving into Sirsasana. Okay, coming up on the toes. Raising the legs up. Oh. And giving it another try because that's why it's important um, to have good distance um, from your body, like kind of a body span distance almost all the way around you, because sometimes your balance isn't quite right and you end up falling out of it. So that's a good demonstration of how to be fall out of Sirsasana in a way that doesn't hurt you in the long run. You know, my toe feels a little sore right now, but other than that, I'm doing a-okay. So let's go ahead and try that one more time. Sometimes I notice when I move into Sirsasana, the spot on the top of my head that I choose can affect the stability of my balance. So choosing a spot that is more in the middle of my head can be really helpful in having a more stable balance. Okay, and keeping that balance nice and in the middle rather than moving forward. I'll go ahead and rotate my hips first to the left. Okay, then moving to the middle and rotating them to the right. Okay, and very good. Then letting those legs down nice and easy.
And taking that breath, rotating the neck as would be needed. Okay. Bringing our awareness and attention to our back, trying to have a nice straight spine. Taking a cleansing breath in, a cleansing breath out. And if you would like to, if it's the only pose in your sequence today, you can actually move into relaxation from Sirsasana. For me, Sirsasana can be quite a workout at times, especially when I am demonstrating it, because I spend a little bit more time moving through the different variations than I normally do, which takes a little bit more effort physically and mentally. So we can maybe move into a pose known as Balasana by stretching our arms out before us and resting the forehead on the mat surface below. Maybe concentrating on the breath here, letting go of all tension, worry, and anxiety. Allowing a feeling to overshadow us, a feeling of rest and relaxation, of ease, of lightness, even though our body may feel heavy, heavy in the effortlessness, I should say, of letting go of the effort that we were just bringing ourselves through the journey of effort and trial and error, as it was, just letting all of that go, allowing the body to rest and relax, allowing our mind and our spirit to become free and light, letting negative energy, negative thoughts, and emotions just drift away as if they were clouds in the sky. Easy breath in, easy breath out. Okay, very good. I don't know about you, but I definitely feel relaxed after that. It can be such a joy to be able to relax in such a way after performing activities that are so full of, I guess, effort, both physically and mentally. The Sirsasana works your core muscles, it works a lot of muscles in your back, it works muscles in your neck and in your arms and your legs. It's a real full body experience, I think, and practicing it a sustained period of time can really bring forth a lot of effort. Can begin the our it can begin, I suppose, and continue the fires of effort that burn away different things like worry and anxiety, fears and frustrations, regrets. You burn all of that stuff away when you are practicing something with great effort, whether it be mental or physical, just like in that pose. And then when you're able to relax in a pose like I demonstrated there, it can really just help bring you to such a delicious and blissful state of peace and presence that there is nothing that I have really experienced in life besides great connectivity with those around us when we are sharing a positive moment in some sort. This is the kind of the personal practice of connecting to that energy, that great positive energy. So that is why I keep practicing this, and I do hope that you keep practicing as well, my friend. I hope that this is informative, interesting, and just a fun part of your journey. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Thank you for being wonderful you, for contributing something great to the rest of the world around you, just in your effort to try to take care of yourself better. Because when we feel better within ourselves, we cannot help but bring that energy into the world around us just by our natural state of being. So, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for being here, for taking this yoga. Thank you, yoga break with me. And next week, I'll bring in some other variations of Sirsasana that you might find interesting and informative. And they will hopefully help you in your journey. So until then, do widzenia, papa, malego denai. Okay, goodbye and have a very good day, my friend. It's such a joy to have you here today. God bless and namaste.